You decided to play Marathon, but how? Marathon is a complex game. It's not something that you're going to pick up by watching a couple of YouTube videos or listening to some tips and tricks guides. It's something that you have to immerse yourself in to fully understand. There are too many moving parts, too many pieces on the board for it to suddenly click and you to understand everything. No, Marathon is something that you absorb over time, gradually gaining an experience until suddenly you look back and then you realize, wow, so this is what Marathon is. But this does take a while. And personally, I know I haven't even progressed halfway to where I need to be. So let me explain what your first 5 or so days playing Marathon are going to be like. Day one is hell. Confusion, information overload, everything kills you. It doesn't make sense. Why is there a plant whose only purpose is to piss on me and make me burn for the next 15 seconds as my health slowly ticks away? I do not have enough heals. I'm completely lost. There's too much text, too many mods, too many stats. There's pickups for everything. Why is there so much stuff? I have no room for this stuff, and I'm dead. And so you go again. And this time you manage to squeak out a little bit of loot and you find someone and they slam you because you're using a gun that sucks. And so you go again. And you understand that the overrun AR blows ass. And then you learn that the shell you're using actually does have an ability that could have saved you 3 runs ago, but you're going to use it now. And so you learn a little bit. And then you keep going. And every 2 slides overheats you. And you get into a fight. And you slide the second time on accident, probably a misinput, and you die. A flopping fish on the ground who couldn't even run away. And so you think about quitting. But you don't quit because you're the kind of player that Marathon is looking for. And so you queue again. And this time you find a shell mod for your legs, and it increases your heat capacity, and you begin to understand. And that's the end of day one. On day two, you load in, and you're willing to try another map. So you try Dire Marsh, and the ticks are getting on your nerves, but you finally have them handled. And so you decide to push into Algae. And unknowing that this is Vietnam incarnate, you get pushed by 3 squads at the same time, and you die. And so you go again. And you begin to take a look at the map, and you think about where people might spawn and how they might move. And as you learn, you start to emulate what others are doing, and you loot more precise items, and you pay more attention to carrying heals, and you think about your ammo, and you escape. For the first time, you escape. And the feeling is indescribable. You won. You finally won, and you got out with what you have, and now your vault is looking much fatter than it used to. You think about loading in with guns instead of a sponsored kit this time. You take your best gun and you grab as much stuff as you can that you think you might need, and you save just a little bit of room. Remember, your loot is more precise this time, and you go in. And then, off rip, you get a complex spawn, and you get pushed by 2 squads before you can even think about moving, and you die. All that work for nothing. 2 days. And that's the end of day two. But you're the kind of player that Marathon is looking for. And so on day three, you grab another sponsored kit and you go again. And this time you have some friends. And so you tell them what you've learned, and they tell you what they've learned. And you find a backpack. Finally, you find a backpack. And you use it to store items, and you're more careful about your PvP. And you're careful about the noise that you make to attract the bots. And you have some decent loot, and you're not overlooted. You're not completely out of space. You could think about some things that you could drop, but you're smarter this time. And so you extract. Not full of loot, but you do have some things, and so you decide to extract, and you win. But it was a careful win this time, not a complete one, but this seems to be the kind of win the game wants from you. See, Marathon is not a game about dying, despite that being all over the marketing and everyone saying, escape will make me God. Marathon is actually a game about survival. In Marathon, you don't win a run. Sometimes you do. But for the most part, you run in, you get what you can, and then you survive. And that is the end of day 3. By day 4, you've leveled up your factions quite a bit. And so, your new sponsored kit begins to be something customizable that you build yourself. But it does cost money. And so, you begin to learn the concept of budgeting. How many heals should I bring if I think I'm going to die? How many bullets should I bring if I don't want to? How many kits should I bring? Is it worth it to bring a mechanics kit and a software kit? Should I bring a signal jammer? Is this important? What do these things do? And so you begin to think about risk versus reward. If I'm running with a squad that I think is strong, maybe I should bring more items so that I can survive a more prolonged fight. Maybe I bring more heals, more bullets, less backpack slots, yes, but I think that I'm going to get high enough value loot that it's worth it. And so you continue on. Your established squad, or you've established yourself as a notable solo player who can consistently make it out, and you decide this time you're going to try to get into PvP fights because they are more profitable. And so you push a squad and you win, and you push another squad and you barely win, and you push a third squad, one that you didn't want to push, and you die. And you're back to the lobby screen, and it feels like you learned nothing, but you know you did. And you know in your subconscious that you did, and you can feel yourself progressing. Even if your gear isn't part of you, you are part of you. Your skill, you carry this into the next match, and whether you load in with a sponsor kit or you decide to bring even more of your loot and risk the last couple items you have, this time you have confidence, and you know exactly what you're capable of. And that's the end of day 4. By day 5, you've tried all the characters, and you lock in Vandal. And you've tried all the guns, and so you bring a volley and a waster, and enough ammo for both of them, because you know exactly how much ammo that is now. And you bring enough heals, because you know exactly how many heals that you're going to want to bring. And you decide that you're going to bring cardio kicks, because you're running Vandal, and Vandal needs cardio kicks in order to be a very optimal member of her group. And so you load in. And this time, each battle plays out like a chessboard. You position yourself properly, and your teammates do the same, and your enemies position themselves properly, and each fight is serious, and each movement could be detrimental or game-winning. And this is Marathon. This is what Marathon is supposed to be. You land a snipe and you get a knock, and then your teammate goes down, but he says he cracked a shield. And so you look over and you shoot your shotgun and you knock him out, and there's one left, and your teammate goes down, and he doesn't know how much health the guy has, and it's moment to moment, and your blood is pumping, and you have no idea if you have 2 shots left in your waster or 1. You didn't check if you reloaded, and so the guy rounds the corner, and you shoot, and then you try to shoot again, and nothing comes out, and then he falls over. And you just won the engagement, and your teammates are laughing, and you're laughing, and you revive them, and you just won. And that is Marathon. Marathon isn't extracting. Marathon isn't about surviving. Marathon is about fighting. Marathon is about fighting the cruelty of the universe, the engagements that you didn't want to take, the loot that is not going your way. You have no bullets. You never found any bullets this run. But you survived, and now you're fighting. And that is Marathon. The end of day 5.
Holy shit.
Motherfucker's just like, nah.
Bro.
I see you just double jumping, trying to get a peek on that bitch.
That
I don't
sniper
think
play
I've
by
had
him,
a jump scare like that.
that sniper play by him almost won them the game.
Genuinely, they got both of you guys knocked. If you hadn't called that it was a sniper, I would have been knocked as well.
Let's get patched up.
No problem, buddy.
I'm too brain dead. I'll say that now. I was too brain dead during that.
You wanna eat this?